From Washington to Hollywood and right back to Wisconsin. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Connecting the dots on the stories shaping our world with smart takes, sharp humor, and plenty of personality.
You know, I really expected more professional behavior from you.
It's news and culture without the noise.
Yeah, I'm on.
Here's Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Dude.
Welcome to Nite Lite, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. We are kicking things off here, and it is great to have you with us here at this midweek point of our show that we like to call Nite Lite. I am Pete Schwaba, coming to you live from Northeast Wisconsin, just up the beautiful coast of Lake Michigan, from my cohort partner in crime, Greg Bach, who is joining us from Radio Park in Racine, and the Domster, Dominic Lee. Lover of all things Jimmy John's and Big Arch, joins us from Madison. He is working the board.
That's what I'm known for.
What?
Really? That's what I'm known for.
Well, sure,
really?
but that's not a bad thing, Don. There are worse things you could be known for. Think about Hitler. You just love a burger and a sub, and you get all your information about your heritage from Jimmy John's.
You really took a leap. That's a good start. Right.
I'm going for the laugh. Anyway,
and you got it.
How are we doing tonight, fellows? It's a glorious day in the state of Wisconsin.
Dom, how you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I get these stomach aches when it hits around 3 o'clock, and this one has not seemed to dissipate. So I have a little tummy ache, but overall, I'm having a pretty good day. How about you?
Well, now I'm worried about your stomach.
Yeah,
like if that's happening every day at the same time, it's either one of two things. It's either, something medical, or you don't like us.
Well, I don't
As you get closer and closer to the show, could be scurvy, or you don't like us.
You don't like us. He gets that pain in his stomach because he has to deal with Pete and Greg.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be my eating habits. It's got to be what it is.
Too many big arches.
One too many.
Well, last night was Taco Tuesday, so you could be reeling a little bit.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it was good. It was really good. But yeah, I think it could have been a lack of just. I need to eat a little better. I think that's what it is.
What have you eaten today, Dom? I'm going to go a little parental here on you, and I want to know what you ate. Today.
I'm going to go very uncle on you right now.
I had a bowl of Frosted Flakes around 10 o'clock.
Strike one. Okay.
Wow.
And then I did have Ian's Pizza at 2:30. So
strike two.
And that's all I've had so far.
Why do you hate yourself, Dom?
I don't know why I do it. It's just so good.
When I have to give you eating advice, that's where you have failed horribly, my friend. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it could be a series of things, but maybe look at your eating habits. Not just your eating habit, but like when you are actually eating, at which times, and what you are in fact eating. But if you're getting it every day at the same time, maybe it's also to exercise that ability to see a doctor.
Yeah, I know. I gotta see. I don't have a doctor yet in Madison. I just moved to Madison. I need a good doctor. I need a primary.
There's probably one there.
There's going to be great ones, but also don't sleep on a nurse practitioner as well. Those are great to have as well. You don't have to you can have a GP, that's fine, but a nurse practitioner who does.
Physician's assistant. Absolutely.
People very angry at me, but do a lot of the same work that doctors do. I can say that because a friend of mine's one of those, and she said that to me, so I'm just relaying her words. But yeah, don't worry about if you can't find a GP, that's one thing, but if you find a great nurse practitioner, that's just as good.
I just had a colonoscopy a couple of weeks ago, Dom. I could probably answer a few questions for you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Just go on the internet and look at TikTok. Hey, we have a really fun show for you guys tonight. I'm very excited, you guys, about our guest, Michael Nuremberg. He wrote this great book. He spent most of his adult life on movie sets as an artistic director, set designer, art designer. He wrote a book called Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filming as told by the crews that got the shot. And he interviewed tons of people who just work on movie crews. And you know what, Greg, I've had over the last couple of years on Nite Lite, I've had people on that just have they're not celebrities, but they have great stories about being on a set or interacting with a famous actor or director. I love that stuff. And this book is a great read. And Mike will be here at 5:35. We also shot shot, recorded some extra stuff with Michael for one of our Nite Lite After Dark segments. That's like a full 45-minute interview that you guys can find on the website. That'll be up soon. How soon will that be up, Dom? Is it Don or Dom?
Dom Lee. That's the full name. There it is.
I keep calling Rosen Dom Rosen, so I gotta figure that out.
Castle Domington.
A couple days it'll be up. And stay tuned for that. Stay tuned.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
And then Greg and I in the first. That's at 6:20, folks. We're gonna talk to Michael.
6:20 or 5:35?
6:20.
There we go. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Just writing it down.
Dom's like, uh-oh.
I didn't look at the schedule.
It is for the second hour, or at least it was scheduled for the second hour. Yeah. You know, friends, I have to say, our dear senior producer, Tucker T. Sizzle Legursky, is under the weather today. So I would say, I'm sure he can answer his email. But Greg and I are going to play a really fun game. See, that's my diagnosis, Tom. Colonoscopy 2 weeks ago. I know a little bit about the medical industry. Okay.
You're a professional.
Exactly. So Greg and I are going to play a game tonight called Agree to Disagree. Okay. I'm excited about this, Greg. You came up with this great title, and we're going to talk about the show Seinfeld. It is Jerry Seinfeld's birthday today. I was a huge fan of the show. I think it's probably the greatest sitcom ever, network sitcom.
Okay.
And Greg disagrees. So we will agree to disagree. It could get heated. We're not in the same studio, so there will not be any fisticuffs.
But I will punch a webcam sooner than I can. Yeah.
Temperamental artist.
Don't get to me started. That was a weird Italian/German. I don't know what I'm doing right now. No idea. But Pete, we want to hear other people's thoughts on this too. So if you have opinions on Seinfeld, or like we've a lot of stuff going on, we'll get to the question of the night. Don't you worry about that. But for this segment, for Agree to Disagree, let us know your thoughts on your favorite sitcom. We've talked about it before, but we'd love to hear it. And if you have points that support me or Pete, or vice versa, like this is why you're wrong, let us know. You can drop a comment in the live stream. You can text us, call us. We'd love to hear from you. But this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I have to say, and a quick reminder, folks, before we get to the question of the night, tomorrow night is another installment of Nite Lite Movie Club.
Yep.
And this week's movie. And this is perfect because our guest tonight is very well known in New York in the film community. This week's movie is Goodfellas, and we will talk about that tomorrow night in the second hour. Our favorite lines, characters, scenes, overall, just give an overview of the movie, whether we liked it or disliked it. It's a Martin Scorsese film with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, a young Michael Imperioli, and Lorraine Bracco. So
Paul
join
Sorvino.
us. Paul Sorvino, yeah, he's no slouch. So join us tomorrow night for Nite Lite Movie Club and check out Goodfellas beforehand if you get the opportunity.
There you go.
Speaking of, this made me think of Italian food. Last night, you guys, I'm not a huge dairy guy. However, I had pasta with these outstanding turkey meatballs my wife made with spinach and garlic, and I added fresh Parmesan cheese, chums. Fresh Parmesan cheese. My God, was it good? It's like a different cheese than the stuff you get out of the shaker.
Yeah.
Like the processed stuff. And that's what I always use. But my God, I'm like dancing on air after having fresh Parmesan cheese last night. That's not even supposed to be fun. That's just a statement that I'm sharing with you fellows.
And I love that. And I love that you had that experience. And there's nothing better than eating great food, especially when it's food like my wife makes amazing dinners, amazing dishes. And I tell her all the time, there's nothing you make that I do not like. And that's honest to God truth too. But just you reveling in fresh Parmesan, or as if you want to be like really fancy, fresh Parmesan.
Ooh. I love that. Not just fresh Parmesan, where I had to take the thing and grate it myself. So I got a little bit of a workout in there too. Yeah. And it was
It's basically cardio, my friends. I mean, my gosh, I basically burned my way into this dinner. I can eat as much as I want. Zip. Oh.
If you saw how much cheese I ate last night, you would know it was a cardio workout. So anyway, that was my night last night. I just want to share that with you guys because we're in Wisconsin. Cheese is good.
Cheese is great. Love it. I absolutely love it. What do we say? Get to the question of the night?
Yeah, why not?
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Hey, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Questions?
All right, folks. In honor of our guest tonight, Michael Nuremberg, our question of the night is: what actor, actress, or movie says New York City to you? What actress, actor, or movie says New York City to you? What do you think of when you think of New York City when it comes to movies, actors, actresses? 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, or send us a text on the app, or shoot us a stream comment if you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, or the app Greg still calls Twitter. So let us know. Be part of the fun. And should we get to some news, you guys?
Let's get to some news with some fresh grated Parmesan.
Yeah.
The first big story.
Well, you don't have to be, an expert or any sort of like political science nerd to know that the gas prices in Wisconsin are way, way up. I was talking about this earlier today. In Kenosha, the gas prices jumped about 30 cents in roughly 24 hours, 24 to 36 hours. And I don't know where you all live, but that is craziness. But it's craziness anywhere. But there's some places in California where it's much more expensive right now. According to AAA's website, it is $4.22. That is the national average in the nation. So actually, Wisconsin, in Kenosha, we are above the national average, which is very, very odd. And Gas Buddy shows that we are just around the average as well, and California is a little under $6 a gallon, which is absolutely bonkers. But I wanted to say something really quick about this, Pete, is that, I think when people hear this, they automatically think, the war in Iran, they would think of the Strait of Hormuz, and that is definitely a contributing factor, but there are other things that are going into it in this story in the JS Online. Let me just say here, Caden Perry has the byline on why Wisconsin gas prices are expected to jump dramatically. There is a refinery issue in Indiana. There's a strike issue. The fact that half of Wisconsin gets their gas from one part of the country, whereas the other half gets it from another part of the country, it's all coalescing together to make the fact that we have higher gas prices. But that being said, the Strait of Hormuz being closed, the war on Iran is just the cherry on the cake. That's what it's really at right now. So really, when it comes down to it, we're all seeing those higher gas prices. You usually see higher gas prices in the spring as they start to switch over blends and they do a lot of maintenance and whatnot. But between everything going on, both here at home and in Iran, we are not only seeing higher gas prices, but they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, it was a great article in the Journal Sentinel, and we got to see our pal Patrick DeHaan was quoted from Gas Buddy. He was a guest on Nite Lite several weeks ago. But that was insane because you said your gas prices went up 30 cents. You had that right at the tip of your brain, Greg, and it matches up exactly with what that article said. And you are getting hit the hardest. Even in Marinette, it's $3.90 a gallon. We're usually a little cheaper. We do have Highway 41 running through here, but we don't have a ton of traffic. So it's insanity right now. And I don't want to drive anywhere, frankly.
Honestly, honestly, I don't want to drive anywhere outside of the county at this point for at least a little while. It's just too expensive.
Right.
So.
Word. All right, folks, we have two more big stories, and one includes the King of Pop. We are coming right back after a very short break. Do not go anywhere. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network.
Bring some understanding here today.
We are back.
Dom, are you set up for that interview the way you cut it? For 5:35, because we could switch things around, but he was scheduled.
I know. I kind of cut it for 6:20 to 6:50, so I cut it the 2B and 2C. Those are how I have it for the interview.
Oh yeah.
So
all right, so no issue.
That works out well.
Yeah.
Okay, no issue. Yeah, we're doing the thing. We're doing Seinfeld at 5:30. Okay, cool.
Cool. Good talk. Sorry, I was spacing out there for a second.
No worries.
I was thinking about how I was going to afford gas.
Yeah, it is. Oh, man. I'm telling you, not having to drive to Green Bay every day and back.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even imagine at this point. I mean,
unbelievable.
I was doing, it's close to the same thing when WAUK was in Waukesha. I was driving to Waukesha from Kenosha. And I had those days where I would be driving 4 counties in one trip. And that is
so much.
That is crazy.
Much happier with this.
What are you? You're not far from the gig, are you, Greg? You get like a 10-minute drive, or?
Yeah, like 15 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I go back to Illinois, I always have to get gas from there. It's so expensive as well.
You got to load up, fill up here in Wisconsin. Not that it's that much cheaper, but it is cheaper at least.
Yeah. I'm just so far that I have to get it both ways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm so conflicted about Michael. Like, I want to see it, but I'm really trying not to put money into the pockets of people who I don't respect, or, trying not to shop at Amazon. Not because there's vitriol or anything, but just to help out smaller businesses, and it's the same with movies and the arts. I don't want to support people that, have checkered pasts.
I mean, you have your $12 to $15 is not going to make or break them. So if you don't want to give it to them, I say go for it.
Welcome back to Nite Lite, folks. Good evening and great to have you. I am Pete Schwaba, joined as always by Greg Bach and Dom Lee in Madison. We are coming to you live on this beautiful Wednesday night. Our question of the night is, what actor, actress, or movie says New York City? This is an honor, sort of our guest coming up in hour 2, Michael Nuremberg, who wrote a great book that we are going to discuss about movie sets and behind-the-scenes stuff that happens. He's got great stories. He'll be here in hour number 2. Coming up after the news, Greg and I are going to do our first installment of Agree to Disagree, and the topic is Seinfeld, and we encourage all of you to join in and take a side. Let's divvy this up. Let's divide ourselves.
Let's get into a fight.
Let's polarize everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're in the middle of our big 3 stories, Dom, if you will.
The second big story.
All right. So the Wisconsin Department of Justice, this was also in the Journal Sentinel, says we have to release the names of all law enforcement officers in the state. A Dane County Circuit judge ruled April 28th. My guess is this, I think this was addressed in 2025 too. Josh Call weighed in on this, Attorney General Josh Call, but this has to be somewhat inspired by all the ICE issues, I would think, Greg. I'm in favor, police officers, law enforcement officers are public employees. So I feel like they should identify themselves. I don't know if we all need access to their personal information, but I feel like they should identify themselves. And the one thing I will say, and I think this is why Josh Call disagreed with this last year, was that it could put undercover officers in danger. And I understand that side too.
Yeah, but in this article, first of all, this is part of a bigger project nationwide where they're trying to release all this information because they want transparency, they want accountability. One of the big things that they're trying to combat here are police officers who are leaving their job before they get fired or before they resign in the midst of scandal. They can just take their wares and they can go to another police station in the state or outside the state. And without the ability to research these individuals and see what they are, capable of as far as whether it's abuse of authority or whatnot, that it makes sense to be able to see this information. And in this article, it addresses the undercover issue portion. It said that it could put undercover officers in danger, but they go on to say in this article, undercover officers don't use their real names. So seeing their real name on the list of law enforcement officers does not really help. The DOJ also didn't really give any specific examples as why their reasoning for not releasing would be a problem. This is something that's happened in 24 other states. It is something that if they need to redact it for some reason, there can be special dispensation. But I agree. They are public employees. Their information should be available, and folks who might hire them should be able to see what's in their past. So to me, you can make special exceptions if there's something overwhelming, but I think this is information that needs to belong to the people. And on top of that, too, they said something very interesting in the story. They said, I wanted to find it specifically, but it said, we can't just go and snap our finger and send an email. I'm like, yeah, you can. You can send an email. I mean, no one's saying you have to knock it all out in one email, but you say, all right, over the next month, we'll be reaching out to every single agency saying we need a comprehensive list. You have to via this court order, and that's it. And then they send it to you. And you follow up. They're trying to make it seem much harder on a administrative level than it is. But when we're talking about transparency, I don't really care. Then, send 2 emails. But this to me is a no-brainer. And if there's protections that need to be had, then you account for that. But just to say, no, this isn't a good idea. No, they're public employees. I worked in the public sector, and my boss's phone number, home address, everything about him was available for searching. So
same thing. My wife's a teacher, and you can find out teachers' information everywhere, and salaries even. Like, why isn't that? I understand law enforcement officers might be in more danger than a teacher, but not necessarily. You have crazy parents sometimes. I mean, this is listen. Point, counterpoint, or agree to disagree is coming up after the news, Greg, but we agree on this.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the third story.
The third big story.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say the movie Michael is Out has made a lot of money. The fans love it. The critics, not so much. But one of the questions that people are asking, actually a few questions, is one, why is Janet not in this movie at all?
Or LaToya or Randy.
No, LaToya's in it.
Oh, she is?
LaToya's in it.
It's Reby.
Is Rebby and Janet and Randy are not in it. The rest of so the ones who are in it are Michael, of course, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, and Marlon. But Janet chose not to be a part of this movie and said that, I want to be away from this project. And they respected that. But to me, a family like the Jacksons, when you don't have, it's fair to say she's the second most famous Jackson. And that's saying a lot because your brother is Michael. But the fact that she's not there speaks a lot to the story. And just the fact that this movie has so many production problems as far as we're not talking about what everyone else is talking about. Right. And the fact that, they got into they actually were going to put portions of this case in there, but they found out they couldn't through a discovery notice that they can't say the names of the survivors. And then also just the fact that it ends right before the allegations come out. So to me, this is a complete, I don't know. No, thank you.
That's convenient. Yeah. Janet said it was creative differences, and that's fine, and they respected that. But to me, this is all a big Jackson. And to not even address that at all is so not egregious, but just lame. Like, this movie broke records. It's set a record. It doubled the what Bohemian Rhapsody did in its release. So love the music, but I would have a hard time going to see this. That's just me.
Same.
All right. Hey, folks, coming up after the news, it is our first installment of Agree to Disagree with Pete and Greg. We're talking Seinfeld. Join the fun. We're coming right back. It's Nite Lite on the Civic Media Network.
Oh, Lord.
Pete, I have the song you recommended. I can do that right off the top.
Oh, you can. I mean, it's a great song. You can use. I just thought that would go out well after we just talked about the Jacksons. But whatever. Yeah, play it next segment.
But I'm down.
No problem, Tom.
All right. All right. I'll be right back.
Me too.
All righty.
We spent the night in Frisco at every kind of disco. From that night I kissed our love goodbye. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the
Welcome
sunshine.
back.
Don't blame it on the moonlight.
I can't blame it on the sunshine because there is no sunshine in Marinette, Wisconsin tonight, folks.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
I am Pete Schwaba. He is Greg Bach. Greg is in Racine at Radio Park. I'm in Christmas City, USA, Marinette, Wisconsin. And Dom is in Madison. We are the Otter Hay Triangle. It is great to have you here tonight. Our question of the night is, what actor, actress, or movie, or song, whatever, says New York City to you? Be part of the fun. New York is our largest city here in America, a great town that has been the setting of fantastic movies, and obviously great artists have come out of there. And we are asking that question tonight kind of in honor of our author guest who will join us in hour number 2, Michael Nuremberg, who joins us at 6:20. He wrote a book called Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking as told by the crews that got the shot. Great behind-the-scenes information. He is a wealth of knowledge and information about movies from all of his times on movie sets, and it is a great book. I read quite a bit of it just today. Nice. What do you think, Greg?
I very much enjoyed the book. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but I did enjoy what I got to read. There was a great section on one of my favorite comedies, which we will discuss with him. And also, here's the thing too. What's great is it's in the After Dark series, so that means there's so much more. You're going to hear about less than half of the conversation on the show tonight. The rest of it will be on the website. You can check out the whole discussion, and that's what we love to call the After Dark series. So you can check out, it's almost like, it's like a full podcast, if you will, that we just, it's more loose. We don't have to worry about the breaks. We don't have to worry about anything. We still are very FCC compliant, but it's a great way to give you more of those interviews. So check that out, the After Dark series.
I always try to sneak in a few swears, but Dom gets them. He's on it.
Yeah. Well, you also think shucks is a swear, so I don't understand. Like, it's just,
shucks. Depends. It sounds like it should be. It's got those hard,
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I can actually, there's a lot of there's a lot of words out there where you say, like, this feels like a swear, but it's not.
And there are some that don't. And George Carlin covered a lot of that. So
Yep. And what's funny is that half the words he said in that landmark joke, you can now say on TV.
Absolutely. You can also chop people's heads off on network TV too. That's not even a thing anymore.
But you can't show a naked person.
No.
Whoa! Too crazy.
We are a puritanical bunch. So tomorrow night, folks, is our Nite Lite movie club. And this week's movie is Goodfellas. Join us tomorrow in the second hour for a really fun conversation about Goodfellas, a Martin Scorsese film with great actors and actresses. We'll talk about our favorite scenes and lines and characters and just give you our thoughts on the movie. And we hope all of you join in for Nite Lite Movie Club tomorrow night. And you can join in right now because Greg and I are about to do our first segment ever of Agree to Disagree. Greg, are you ready?
I disagree. I'm not ready. I'm just kidding.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Check, please.
Dom, you're in charge. We're gonna go think of some stuff here. All right, I'm ready. Ooh.
Domly.
There we go. All right.
Okay. That music to me, Greg, symbolizes my favorite. It's probably one of my favorites, but it's the best network sitcom, in my opinion.
Okay.
Easily of my life during my lifetime. And I know that music got a little crazy season 7. I think they were only writing 15-minute episodes, so they would let that go on for like 3 minutes. It was kind of annoying.
Here's a fun fact about that theme song: that is not an actual bass guitar. That's a keyboard with a bass MIDI, because they said, oh, no bass players could play that. That's too hard. And then bass players were like, hold my beer. I'll take care of that. Thank you very much.
Ouch.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So obviously I'm a fan of Seinfeld. I love the show. You and I both have a stand-up background. You're still doing it actively, but Jerry Seinfeld was, the guy when I started in the late 80s. I started doing stand-up in 1989. He was the guy. He was selling out theaters, and the word on the street was he didn't have to take a sitcom deal he didn't love because he was making a couple $1 million a year anyway doing theaters. And I saw him at the Vic Theater in Chicago. I actually talked to him after that, and this is funny. I saw him years later at the Laugh Factory in LA. He stopped by to do a set, and he was leaving. I said something. I said, hey, I saw you at the Vic Theater years ago. You were nice enough to talk to me afterwards. And he looks at me, he goes, oh, yeah. There's no way he remembered me.
No,
but it wasn't nice. He acted like he did. Anyway, so he was very instrumental, and I don't think he's good on the show as an actor, but I give him his props. I don't laugh at his comedy as much as I used to, but I give him credit. He created this amazing show with Larry David.
I mean, I understand everything you're saying there, and I don't discount his importance. And he's one of those guys back in the 80s who definitely took control of the whole narrative regarding, like, you go on Johnny Carson and then the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr was one of those individuals. There's a lot of other examples, but that's the thing is, like, I do not dispute its cultural importance. I don't dispute Jerry Seinfeld's importance as a stand-up comedian. But for my money, I do not I can watch Seinfeld, but I do not love it, and I cannot watch it I cannot watch it the way other people do. I tried, just when like Netflix or wherever was a thing you could do it, I started to watch it, and then I got like 2 seasons in. I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, and yeah, for me, it's just definitely not in my opinion, one of my favorite sitcoms of all times. One of the greatest sitcoms of all time or of recent memory. I understand that belief too, but I can think of other sitcoms that I feel are better. And all I can do is say, yes, I understand why you like it. I won't say you're wrong for liking it or like get mad at that you like it or, but you don't no, because it's your taste. It's your choice. So all I can say is I totally understand why you would like it. And I don't dispute its importance in especially TV culture, but it's not the best.
And I respect that. I was glad we got to do this segment because most comics love Seinfeld. So when you told me a couple weeks ago or whenever it was that you weren't the biggest fan, I was like, wow, I respected the take. Like, to me, those of you who are listening, some of my favorite episodes are, and they did groundbreaking stuff when George's mother caught him and they had the contest. That's what the episode is called. Brilliant. Without ever having to say the words. There were all these great episodes where Jerry, or George, I should say, dates a girl who looks just like Jerry, and Kramer keeps calling her Femme Jerry or a she Jerry. I mean, in a lot of that, Greg, I think is Larry David. Like, Seinfeld's great as a comic, and I'm sure a lot of the ideas were his too. But the fact that Larry David, and I'll say this, Larry David went on and did Curb Your Enthusiasm and took a lot of those topics on Seinfeld and just was able to swear and do them on cable instead. I will say this, Curb Your Enthusiasm might be more critically acclaimed. Maybe not. I don't know. But I will say I think Seinfeld is better because it has a script. I like the improv element of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I think it goes on too long. And their master, Jeff Garland's a genius. Larry David's great, but give me a script.
All right. I'll give you a script. I got a script that I wrote 2 years ago. It's not very good. It's called Die Hard in Illinois. It's currently in a lawsuit for copyright infringement, but you can still read it if you want. I mean, it's fine. And the thing is, to me, like, I don't ever compare those two shows because they're two totally different shows in my opinion. From their design, from, of course, the time frame, what, as you said, what they can and don't say. I don't compare the two because to me they're Larry David is the connective tissue, of course, right. But for me they're two, and I would much rather watch Curb Your Enthusiasm because I like that cast a lot. And I mean, for me, like, hands down, I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is one of the finest television comedic actors of all time.
For sure.
Absolutely love her, and I do enjoy her on the show, but I actually enjoy her in other, like, for me, and this doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but The New Adventures of Old Christine, I thought that was a great sitcom. Yeah. I thought it was very, very fun, and I love seeing her as the center. But I can watch those classic episodes, and I'd be like, it comes down to the point of, like, I get why people like this, but after a while, for me, I'm like, all of these people are terrible. And I don't want to root for them anymore. Like, they don't seem to get their comeuppance, but they always get away with just being trashy people. And after a while, that sort of loses its appeal for me. And I feel that way about a lot of TV shows.
If you're just joining us, this is our first installment of Agree to Disagree, where Greg and I pick a topic and take opposite sides. And we're not just doing that. These are natural, organic thoughts, folks. We're talking about Seinfeld. Let us know what you think. Are you on my side or are you on Greg's side? Do you like Seinfeld? Do you not? Do you think it's overrated? I agree with you about Julia Louis-Dreyfus because none of the other actors, Greg, really had a lot of success after Seinfeld. I mean, and they're so brilliant. Like Jason Alexander, Michael Richards, they are outstanding. But you're right. Julia Louis-Dreyfus has had other success off the show. I will say the first 4 seasons of Seinfeld specifically are probably my favorite in network TV history. There's no weak link. I know a lot of people came around to Seinfeld after that time and talk about the Soup Nazi and episodes like that. And I'm just like, it's just overdone. Like, it was so real about a comic in New York when it started. And then the season where they made the pilot and it was all called back at the end of the final episode of the season, I thought was incredible. So that was a little bigger, but the first 3 seasons before that too were great, even though the first season only had like 4 episodes. But when it got later in the series with the Soup Nazi and and Putty became the focus, and Putty's funny and some of the other characters, but I just thought it was a little over the top. And whatever, they got to make 26 episodes. It's not like British TV where they have to make 8 or 12 or 16.
Or 6
or 4. Yeah, they're you know, they had a slate to fill and they did it, and it was still okay. There are some episodes, the one where Kramer takes George and Estelle, or I'm sorry, Jerry Stiller and Estelle Harris, George's parents' screen door, and sets it up at his apartment. And Estelle Harris, I want to give her a shout out as George's mom.
Yeah.
That whole episode, she's yelling from the upstairs, and Frank Costanza is trying to sell computers out of the garage, and he's got George working for him and George's rival, Lloyd Braun. And he says the one who sells the most computers, he's trying to compete with IBM. He says the one who sells the most computers gets a free water pick. And you just hear this shrill voice of Estelle Harris. I'm not giving away our water pick. Like, there's some brilliant stuff, even in the later seasons too, but...
On the text line, Andrew from Maine, listening on WAUK, said, never watched Seinfeld, though familiar with via social exposure, not yet impressed with what I have seen. And I understand. I mean, I understand that. I know people who just flat out dislike Seinfeld. Like, they don't like this. They don't like the show. They don't like him for various reasons. But, you know, I know this is agree to disagree, and I didn't like get all fiery with it, but it just, for me, it's a sitcom. I think it had a certain relevance. It's great, but I can pick out like 3 or 4 that for me are like way more influential and way more. And like, I just can sit and watch them and be like, I've watched this episode 15 times. I'm still going to watch it again. So
yeah, totally.
So today we agreed to disagree.
I think that's lovely, Greg. I think this is off to a great start. We've got our question of the night. What actor, actress, or movie says, or song, or band says New York City? Do you answer the question? We are coming right back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Good times, boogie. You just got the sunshine, yeah. Moonlight, good times, boogie. Don't you blame it, sunshine. You just got the moonlight. You just wanna good times, yeah. Oh, blame it on yourself. Sunshine, ain't nobody's fault.
All right. When we come back, we can go to the other story that Dom picked.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you share that again, Dom, in the chat?
Daily Doc.
Daily Doc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beneath the 3 stories.
I highlighted it in like light red.
Perfect.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to have to speed read this.
It's a very short read.
Yeah. It's just funny. All right, guys. We are coming back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Welcome back. You've got Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach and the Civic Media Network. Great to be with you tonight. Thanks for spending some time with us. Coming up in hour number 2, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lee Nuremberg will be here. He is the author of Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filming as told by the crews that got the shot. It is a great read. Lots of behind the scenes stories from his friends who are in the business. Michael was a set designer and scenic artist and has tales to tell, and you'll hear them all in hour number 2. Our question of the night is, what actor, actress, or movie or band or singer says New York City to you? So we got kind of a New York theme tonight, and it's going to carry over a little tomorrow into Nite Lite Movie Club as we discuss Goodfellas. So join our conversation tomorrow night, too, for Nite Lite Movie Club and our conversation of Goodfellas. How we doing, guys? We're jamming, huh?
We're jamming.
We're jamming.
Yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun here.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Dom, you found this article.
Yeah.
It's cracked me up. Go ahead and share this, please.
Yeah, all right. I just found this pretty recently. It said 1 million bees make for bumper-to-bumper traffic on a Tennessee highway ramp, it was about 1 million bees there was a truck carrying 1 million bees, and it just tipped over, and all of the bees went onto the freeway, and it was absolute chaos. I just thought it was like, how do you clean that up? It's almost like you just can't. It's just all over the freeway.
They said it when they said in this article. They said that the bees have been, they're good. Like they've gotten the bees. Like who? It says right in the comments too. Who counts it? How do you know? Do you weigh them? Is it like it like a tear thing where you put it on a scale and you account for like the weight of the container? But like seriously, like 1, how did you know there were 1 million? 2, how did you know you got all of them? And my third thought on this too, and it said something to the effect of, unless you are dressed in this outfit, which is like a beekeeper's outfit, please stay in your vehicles in this area. They wouldn't have to tell me that. Right. Just hold up a sign and say 1 million bees are loose, and I'm sitting in my car happy, and that's it. But the bees can also get in your car. They can fly up through like various. It's not a done deal.
This is really important because, bees are crucial to our existence, and luckily all of them were wearing their seatbelts and they're okay. However, it was a great story, and I love the comments. One of my favorite things to do under stories like this is read people's comments, because you can find gold from regular people. But how do they know? Is the reason they know there were 1 million, because I assume they came from a bee farm and they have some way of tracking that or whatever. But kind of a scary thing. Not as obnoxious as mayflies, which are just starting to show up here in Christmas City. You cannot even take a walk without wearing a mask, or you eat mayflies. And a year ago on this show, I talked about mayflies, and I said, if I swallow 10 mayflies, does that break a fast? Because it's inevitable. When you take a walk this close to it's terrible.
If you swallow 10 mayflies, you can still consider yourself a vegan. I mean, that's all these questions are very valid, but I do like how you turn this into, let me tell you something.
It's about me.
The mayflies are coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. 1 million bees, that's 2 trillion mayflies, and they're all in my mouth. Ugh.
Or cicadas. Cicadas just scare me.
Cicadas are awesome because I never see them. I just hear them, and they're awesome to listen to. Yeah. And plus, okay. Can I just say something really cool about cicadas? This is totally off topic, but here's a cool thing about cicadas. There are 13-year and 17-year cicadas, and the reason why there are 2 separate cicadas who only come out on those times, so every 13, every 17 years, is evolutionary. They figured out that their predators, if they came out every 2 years, 1 year, if it was regular, their predators would get it. So they evolved to only come out 13 and 17 years to stay away from the predator, so they didn't know they could, because they're insects or whatnot, so not exactly keeping time. But the cicadas, through brain power and evolution, said, you know what, we need to come up with a plan. And the plan is, you guys come out every 13 years, we'll come out every 17 years, and that's what we'll keep doing. Now, that's an oversimplification of evolution, but it's essentially how it works.
You really think they have that capability?
Well, it's not, do I think? They do. This is a fact.
No, I know, but I'm not saying like, it is interesting how instinctively, the animal kingdom does that, because they're not sitting around in a boardroom going, "Hey, we gotta figure something out here, guys."
That's why they scare me even more.
Well, Tom,
Tom just saved me.
They're too smart.
Every 13 to 17 years, whatever it is, just stay inside then. Pete, you stay inside for the mayflies. You stay inside for the cicadas, Dom, and then I'll just be outside going, there are a lot of bees out here. Smooth. How do you count them? I don't know why I went to Southern. I don't know why I did that. My apologies to my Southern friends. I don't know why I did that.
We've got a couple texts here in regard to our previous segment. Greg, I would say, Greg, so far you're up 1-0 if we have to keep score. Jewel agrees with me. He says Seinfeld is the penultimate show of Gen X.
Two things here, Pete. You didn't read the whole text.
Why would I do?
And also, not the right use of the word penultimate. But if you're gonna call me names, Jewel, if you're gonna call me names.
It was a little aggressive.
It's not the right word, not right uses of the word penultimate. So I'm just saying out there, be mean. I'll be mean right back. That's it.
Greg is agreeing to disagree with me and Jewel. So I find that interesting. And then Janet Madison says, Jennifer Madison, here I'm a Seinfeld fanatic. Team Pete on this one. I quote it all the time at the office, and I get weird looks from people who have never watched the show or really dislike it. So those people are out there. She says, but I've changed some minds when I talk about certain episodes they should watch. It is crazy, Greg, that show, it's been 30 years since it went off the air.
Mm-hmm. It went off the air before 9/11.
Yeah, 97, I think it was off the air.
98 or 99.
Maybe 98.
Oh, no.
You might be right.
Yeah.
It was 9 seasons, and it started in 89. So, yeah, it's nuts how time has passed so quickly. But anyway, all right. Oh, my God, we've got to get to a break. Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Don wasn't even born.
We are coming right back to talk about a lot of stuff. It's going to be great. We're going to read your texts after the news. This is Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Network.
All right, we're in break.
You can read the whole text, Pete.
Wow, it was kind of lame. Why would you say that? You know what I mean? Like,
I think that Jewel was trying to be funny.
Maybe.
I totally understand that. That's a conversation. Okay. It's like what we were talking about before with Michael. It's like you get into the back and forth, and then sometimes you're like, oh.
No, I was just surprised because Jewel's a great texter. Like, it was it just kind of caught me off guard. If you'd
Jewel, you're still a great texter.
I would have read that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you want to see what the exact text was, folks, sign up for our Patreon page. There are many levels. I'm just kidding. There's no Patreon page.
Do we have that? Oh, that'd be so
no,
sweet.
we don't.
I could do the show topless. All right.
Boom. Oh, that's good.
All right, I can get rid of my Seinfeld notes. Stream comment. Doing pretty well. We got about 14 or 15 Facebook. And we could probably jam through those. How are we doing? We got some quite a few texts too, right, Tom? Okay.
Let me take a look at mine too. Let me take a look at mine. Oh, I got a few here too. That's good. That's always a
sweet.
And then yeah.
All right, I'm going to go refill my coffee. I will be back uno momento.
Yeah, get some
okay.
All right, guys.
It's
see you on the flip.
Trying to make sense of the world? You've got Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Call our toll-free number now.
Headlines, culture, and real conversation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Here's Pete and Greg.
Welcome back to Nite Lite on the Civic Media Network. You can always be part of the conversation. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We are currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. Still ahead, a great conversation with Michael Nuremberg. He is an author, filmmaker, and artist talking about his latest book, Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking as told by the crews that got the shot. And this is going to be part of our After Dark series. So tonight you will hear a portion of that conversation, a little less than half of it. The rest of it will be available on civicmedia.us/shows. Look for the Nite Lite show page and you can get it right there. But that's what we do with all of our After Dark series. It's a longer conversation, usually about 40 to 45 minutes. But what you're going to hear is a small sampling as curated by the very talented Dom Lee, who is in Madison right now at Civic Media HQ. And all the way up the coast from me in Marinette, a.k.a. Christmas City, USA, is Mr. Pete Schwaba. And I'm down here live in Radio Park. We are the Yadrahe Triangle, and we are here to have some fun, baby. All right, we are in hour 2 of the program, and we are going to be wrapping everything up with the nightcap as well, where we figure out what we've learned and hear from you, the listener/watcher. But great stuff so far. Great first hour. Lots of it. If you missed it, by the way, again, go to civicmedia.us/shows. Look for the Nite Lite show page. You can download episodes, catch up. It's all curated right there for you. It's like a podcast, but you have to go to a website and then download and put it on. This is fine. You just get it. You're fine. Good to go. Guys, how are you doing? Did you have a good news break?
I did. Yes, I would say.
What'd you do, Dom? Did you run out and get some?
Get a bug arch? Get a bug arch?
I got some water. My stomach doesn't hurt anymore, so yeah, I think it's all going up from here. So I'm better.
It's all wine and roses. Everything is coming up, Dom.
I went up and I got a little refresher in my fee. I got a little extra fee because I'm having actual caffeine tonight. I know I'm going to probably regret it, but I got work to do later, so I'm drinking some coffee.
Did you? Oh, okay. I was like, I don't understand. Like, seriously, I know I failed the brain rot quiz, but I don't know what fee is. You guys
no, fee is old, dude. I was doing stand-up. I was in Indianapolis in the mid-'90s, and I went to a Hardee's drive-thru, and I said, and a large coffee. And the guy said, okay. And then we were waiting for my order, and this guy in the background says to the window attendant, he says, I got your large fee. And I thought that was the greatest thing I ever heard.
I would be like, I wear size 13 shoes, but why are you guys talking about my feet? I don't understand this because I don't hear things that way. I know, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Craig's got size 13 fee.
I do.
All right.
I'll try to tell a joke. Pizza farm everywhere. All right, so let's get back into the program, everybody. It's time to restate the question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions?
This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
In celebration of our conversation with Michael Nuremberg and our conversation we're going to have tomorrow night in the Nite Lite Movie Club where we're talking Goodfellas, what actor, actress, movie, what thing always reminds you of New York City? Let us know. Drop a comment on the live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, the platform we still call Twitter. You can also text. You can call 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, or do anything like that by getting the Civic Media app. Call, text, leave a voice message, listen to shows live, get your news. It's all right there in the app. If you haven't downloaded it, download it today because it's absolutely free. So, Pete, you posed this question.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. What is quintessential New York?
Annie Hall, the movie.
Okay.
I love Annie Hall. It's one of my favorite all-time movies. And it's a great New York movie. I love the setting. I love the people. It says New York to me, but there's a lot of them. It was hard to choose. What about you?
Well, honestly, like I can't get my mind off of When Harry Met Sally when we watched that movie for New Movie Club. And like we said it in that conversation, the city itself with a lot of movies is as much a character
as
as
for sure
as the people who are portraying, who are doing their roles. But those shots of New York, especially a movie where you see seasonal changes in New York. It's just absolutely, you always have to highlight, Central Park in fall and, walking down the streets in the summertime. It's, there's a ton of answers, and also shows that were never even shot in New York. You watch a show like, what's the word? I've just forgotten it now. It's out of my brain.
Like a sitcom or something?
Yeah, like a sitcom, like a Will and Grace. Will and Grace is a quintessential New York show, completely filmed in Los Angeles. But everything about that show, from its conversations to where they go to eat to all what's funny about that show too is that it was on so long ago that the idea of living in Brooklyn was suspect, and like, oh God, you live in Brooklyn? God, what's wrong with that guy? That's how old that show is. But that's just a couple of examples. Dom, what about you?
I got to go with actor Adam Sandler for mainly Happy Gilmore, and he was born in Brooklyn, and that's just what I think of when I think of New York.
Nice.
I think of Adam Sandler. I think of the cadence that he talks in, and that just reminds me a lot.
The Sandman.
Do you like when he does his little voice like this?
That's what I think of in New York. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know this until recently. I'd probably say in the past couple of years. First of all, his special, 100% Fresh on Netflix, is one of the best comedy specials to come out in the past 5 years.
Oh, wow.
It is and we know these type of people, Pete, like cynical, hardened comics. Nothing's funny, nothing's original, nothing's anything. It's all like, ugh. It's like, dude, you should have gotten out of this job years ago. Seriously, you hate it. Why are you doing stand-up? It's the only job I know. Well, that's a sad statement, but 100% Fresh is an amazing special. But on top of that, what I found out that Adam Sandler is a graduate of the Tisch School of Acting from NYU. He's not just some guy who came out of the clubs, went right to SNL. No, he studied acting. And when you think about that and you watch these movies where he has more dramatic flair, which in a lot of his, quote, silly or dumb comedies, he still has those acting chops. But yeah, he is a graduate with a diploma from the Tisch School of Acting.
Wow. Well, that makes sense. I mean, he's done a lot of dramatic roles as well, so I'm not surprised. Before we get to text, Dom, and we got a lot of text to get to on this. Greg, I want to say something because you made a joke a couple weeks ago that was very funny about pizzas growing on trees, and I think the way you said it, I thought you were going to say more. Tucker thought you were going to say something, our senior producer, and Dom, we all kind of left you hanging. And there was a silence that I think it's hilarious. You can't let it go because it was a funny line. I just want to make you feel a little better. When we were talking about the bees before and I did my seatbelt joke, Dom kind of bailed me out. There was nothing but silence. And then Dom chimed in and totally rescued me. But I want to say this. I actually wrote down seatbelt joke while we were talking about that. So I didn't forget to say my seatbelt line, which I thought was gold. And right as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, oh no. So that's my pizza equivalent, I think.
Well, that's the thing is like I had let it go in the sense that I stopped reliving the moment until you just described it again. So thank you.
Oh, listen, I'm not going to let you live it down. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, let it go. But by the way, what a dumb joke. But no, I like the idea of, and if you want to know what we're talking about, folks, simply go back to civicmedia.us/shows and download the episodes, listen to yourself, and you will hear the aforementioned pizza farm joke that got nothing. So
you will hear the golden question.
Yeah, exactly. But I like to now refer to it as any joke that bombs as pizza farm. Like that's how we can.
That was a real pizza farm.
Another piece of merch we can have. The Yawder Triangle T-shirts, Pizza Farm T-shirt. I mean, come on now.
I have it queued up, but I don't want to do that to you, Greg. I have it queued up.
You found the Pizza Farm thing?
I did find the Pizza Farm thing, but if you really want me to play it,
No, I don't. Like,
hey, Greg, you want to hear a thunk?
if you would have caught me a day after therapy, like when I was feeling good about myself and I did some but I'm not there yet. So like, no, I'm kidding. I don't care if you play it, but we can play it later because I want to get to the text messages and
that's great nightcap stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dom, why don't we get to some of the text messages that have been coming through on the question of
Tons
the
of
night?
them.
Yes. In terms of the question of the night, we have Andrew listening on WAK said Ghostbusters 2, Lady Liberty walking down the street in Manhattan. How can you get more NYC than that?
I mean, I mean, and they're playing Jackie Wilson. I mean, come on now. It's just fantastic. Love it. Love it.
We also have Brett from Brown Deer saying on WAUK said, nothing says New York like Woody Allen. So true.
Very well said.
Okay. I mean, it's say what you will about him. You can have that long conversation about him. I'm not
like
discounting
Michael Jackson.
That. Exactly. Yeah. But you cannot deny that his movies, for the most part, are quintessential New York, especially when you're talking about Annie Hall and Manhattan. Yeah, it's just it plays a character.
There's another parallel here with Michael Jackson. Woody Allen is incredibly prolific, and that was heartbreaking when I kind of changed my opinion on him personally because his stuff is outstanding. I want to give John Murray a shout out too. He said Peter needs to go to the Olive Garden. This is when I went on my Parmesan cheese ranch.
They give you fresh Parmesan. They do it right in front of you, Pete. There's a little wheel. They're like, would you like some fresh Parmesan? And even if you don't want it, you still say yes because it's about the theater. It's about the theater of it all. All right, Dom, what else we got?
We also have Eric listening on WMDX says Billy Joel.
Okay.
That's a good New York one. Yeah.
That's it. That is, my gosh.
Really good.
You just play the opening line to Piano Man. You're like, New York.
Yep. Oh, totally.
And then we also have Home Alone 1 and 2 in terms of a movie. Very good. Very nice. Ron.
Well, Home Alone 1
Home Alone 1 is not new.
No, it takes place in fake Shermer, Illinois.
And then we also have Ron Perlman in the series Beauty and the Beast or Underdog or both. And that was Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids.
Does Underdog take place in New York? I didn't even know that. Okay.
Did you get Luke's text, Dom, from the 608? He said Jerry Seinfeld.
He said Jerry Seinfeld.
And that was pertaining to New York, I believe. So
I do want to, I want to do it. There was a Kathy from Beaver Dam listening on WAUK in context of what we were talking about earlier at the top of the show. I just paid $3.69 at Costco in Pewaukee, which is amazing because Costco, we were talking about gas prices earlier, the fact they've gone up so much and so fast. That story will be in the show notes so you can see it. And Costco and Woodman's are usually a lot cheaper, but the fact it's $3.69, that's
high for Costco.
I wonder it's absolutely insane. So, any other text messages?
Yeah, we got a few more. We got Anna from Madison said, hi, Pete and Greg. When I think of New York City, I think of Sarah Jessica Parker's character, Carrie Bradshaw, in the Sex and the City sitcom. And then we also have John.
Oh, we have a lot of text messages.
Yeah, a lot. John listening on WISS says Joe Pesci.
Oh, that's a great one.
Mark says, was Mark?
Where's Mark? Do you see
Towards
Mark?
the bottom. Mark from Cornell on WCFW says, this dates me a little. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Of course.
That's a great one, too. Great New York.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a ton of text messages here. Karen and Racine on WAUK, Barefoot in the Park. Again, these movies. And, honestly, going back, another show filmed in Los Angeles, but is just absolutely all over the place when it comes to New York, is Taxi.
Taxi's great.
Yeah, Taxi's
is total New York.
How you can, I always have so much respect for shows that can capture the essence of a city when they're not taking place in that city. And Taxi is one of those shows. It feels like 70s New York. We'll be talking more about your texts, your messages to us on the topic of the night. What actor, actress, or movie says New York to you? We'll talk about that more in the nightcap. But coming up in a little bit, Michael Lee Nuremberg. He is an author, artist, and we'll be talking about his new book, Cinematic Immunity, right after the break. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Stay close. You're listening to Nite Lite with Pete and Greg.
All right, we're in break. Yeah, we do have a ton of text today. Ton.
All right.
Oh my. No way.
Yeah, let's at least get through the text line ones that we can, if we have time, we could do Facebook, but if people are still listening. I'm glad you caught that one with the gas too, Greg. I forgot about that one. Agreed.
Yeah.
It's so lame.
It's just so.
Let's make sure to get Dave's stream comment later too. in the nightcap?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, we'll when we come back for the nightcap, I'm going to just get right into it so we can push through all of these, as many as possible. I don't want to if we can't get to them, we can't get to them, but like as many as possible.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if that time, Dom, if you can just find the text messages that weren't mentioned, we can do that as well. So,
Okay.
All right, cool. I'll see you guys in a little while.
All right, chums.
Guys, see you in a bit.
Brr.
Get up home, I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue, I think it's just a
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Our guest is Michael Nuremberg. He is the author of Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking as told by the crews that got the shot. A great read. Check it out. He has made his living as a scenic artist, an art director, and now he is a director of documentaries. We're discussing his book today, and it's great to have him.
Michael, thank you so much for being on the show today. We really, really appreciate your time. We're here to talk about your book, Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking as told by the crews that got the shot. And Mike, I want to start with something really up at the top here. Cinematic Immunity is not just the title of your book, but it's actually a film term or a movie making term. Can you talk about that, please?
Oh yeah, it's a great term, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It means that lawlessness you have when you're on a movie set, where the rules don't apply to you, especially if you're in a small town and you're just doing whatever you want. And of course I could do that. I have cinematic immunity. And it also, and the example I often use is it's the only business where there's a department tasked with yelling out that a car is moving, because people will be so deep in their own world that they will just walk out into traffic, or just looking at their phone, or that happens sort of naturally now, but which is very unusual. That you could be that, or just thinking that the thing you have to do is more important than everything else, including the laws of physics. It's very stupid.
You spent your whole career as, you just said you've directed documentaries, you've been a production designer, scenic artist, and you've been in the business for decades. What made you want to write this book? Because, I remember sitting around with my comedian friends or writer friends and swapping stories. You've compiled, this book is so great, the material you have here. What made you decide to do this, and how long did it take for you to compile all that information?
Well, thank you. This is my second oral history, so I knew the process, and I'm a big fan of them. Things like Please Kill Me by Legs McNeil, and
such
a great book. Edie, of course, by the great what's her name? Stein. Can't think of her name right now. She's just the greatest. And so I it was like making a documentary, but with paper. And then I realized, I've originally thought of it. Okay, maybe it's a documentary. Maybe it wants to be a documentary. I've done that before. But you don't have to raise money. That's great. Raising money is awful to make films. The only films I want to make now, I'm just gonna do them. Without, because you can now, but and B, I just knew how to do it because I had done one, and everyone is so old and ugly They don't necessarily want to be on film. These are people who are very decidedly behind the camera, myself included. You guys can see me here, but we're not on camera.
Well, we're in radio,
behind
so
the scenes. Yeah, or it's that great expression, you got a face for radio.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
these people have a face for radio. And so I thought it was better as a oral book rather. So I probably used about 5% to get to the other part of your question. I probably only used about 3 to 5% of what I've got, which is probably the best of the best. And the thing is, some of it just is really good, but some of the chapters didn't work. They didn't work as chapters together in this book.
You know, I think I know what the answer is because it just kind of makes sense. But there are movies filmed all over the world, and there are recognized locations: Los Angeles, Paris, London, Chicago, all those. Why a book about New York filmmaking or filmmaking as it pertains to New York City, I should say?
I didn't actually answer the rest of your question. It took me 5.5 years.
Okay.
Because you asked how long it took, and I realized now that I didn't answer. It took 5.5 years, and it took the pandemic to be stuck inside, and then thinking. A few of my colleagues, Pete, you work in this business, you work with someone for a year, a few days. A bunch of people have died, and a lot of that generation retired in the pandemic. So I was like, I got to get it now. And so I started right away. Once I was like, all right, instead of this being a film, it's going to be a book. We're going to do it now. And that's why it took 5.5 years, because it took that long just to get it all assembled while working, kids, and then your question, Greg, was why New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's where I live and it's what I know. I know I could have, had I lived in LA or Toronto or Chicago, I could have done a version of this book, but I just didn't know those people. I didn't know those places so well. Not enough to have that deep knowledge of and plus I realized from doing the book, I kind of love the city. It's a character in all these movies for a reason, because it's pretty great, even though there's a lot of problems with it and a lot of problems with the way it's going. It has a lot of charm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, keeping with New York City, you come across as a pretty mild-mannered, clean-cut guy, but working in New York City for so long, I know you probably don't take crap from anybody because you've been on your share of sets. Let's talk about New York unions busting people's chops and how different they are than other crews where you might crew up in, like, say, here in Wisconsin, where everyone's so nice, at least at first. Movie sets can change you and make you jaded, but why are they different? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I know I love how truthful and abrupt New Yorkers can be. They don't mess around. They don't waste time. How does that affect a movie set? Is it more efficient or is it harder to deal with?
Well, I don't have a lot to compare it to, because every time I've been on a location, it was with other New Yorkers doing something. So I don't know how working on a movie set compares in that regard. But New Yorkers are very contrary to the perception. New Yorkers are very friendly. I think if someone is really in trouble, really confused, really anything, you ask someone on the street, they're more than likely to be like, "Oh, you just don't worry about it. We'll do this," and it's very. I think it's more friendly than it gets credit for.
We'll have more with author Michael Nuremberg and more movie talk after this very short break. So don't go away. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. We are in the middle of a really fun interview with our new friend, Michael Nuremberg, a lifetime scenic artist, art director, production designer, and we are discussing with him his book, Cinematic Immunity, An Oral History of New York Filmmaking as Told by the Crews That Got the Shot. Okay, so I have to ask you this, Michael. I lived in LA for years, and that was a real eye-opener for me because like Greg said, we're stand-up comics. I was a comedian and I just started to do some writing. I was in shock at how many parents at my kids' school were in the business. Truck drivers, electricians, set designers, special effects, carpenters. I had no idea. I mean, I knew that, I've watched movie credits, and a lot of them went out there to be actors and they fell into these sort of peripheral vocations. When I moved to Wisconsin, people would say, well, you got to have a backup. If you're going to be an actor or a singer or whatever, you got to have a backup. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Don't study your plan to fail. And I use that instance where in LA, these people find other avenues in show business. How many of those people, in your opinion, you've worked with them, actually go to be set truck drivers or carpenters or electricians or special effects? And how many people just kind of end up there?
Well, I think New York is unusual in that regard, that these are family businesses. So often, because there's like families, there's a whole chapter I cut, and it was a huge, unwieldy chapter. I never knew what to do with it. And it was called Family Business. And it was about these dynasties. So if your father was a prop master and his father was a prop master, I mean, you could have a line that just goes back to the silent era doing set dressing and props. And the people I work with at SVU, I mean, they're probably second, third, or fourth degree props because it's a daughter and her father. Friends of mine, they're just, and then there's the carpenters. He's the construction coordinator. His father worked on as a coordinator on movies, and his stepbrother, his half brother works as the construction grip in the next room. So everyone has known each other. A lot of these people grew up together. So I think New York is unusual in that regard. And I do think that also New York attracts talent in all kinds of ways. So if you were like a really good painter and you're in a town somewhere and you want to see how far you could take it, you have to ask yourself, am I going to move to New York? Am I going to move to LA or Berlin or one of these places that you do go to compete? If you're talking about clothes, fashion, I mean, if you have that skill, you're going to ask yourself. So then you just find movies because it's one of the only things that pays. I didn't even know this really existed until a friend of mine got in. And then I was like, because I was showing in some galleries, I was, making art. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. I hate the art world.
That was my next question: is how did you end up there? So please continue.
Yeah,
that's great.
The segues. I mean, I was substitute teaching. I was doing all this stuff I didn't really want to be doing, and a friend of mine, this great painter, Jake Schwaba, he's amazing. But anyway, he's still a good friend of mine today. And then he got walked. He was working somewhere and they organized, and he got walked in. And then he's like, "Oh, you should be doing it. You should be doing it in the union because make like, 3 times the amount of money I was making. I like quadrupled my my income when I got into the union when I was 28 because I was working like practically just above poverty wage, sweeping the floors, doing off-Broadway theater stuff, doing the same work. Once I found out that you could paint sets, and then I was like, oh well. But inside that, there's so much more. You could, because you're freelance, you could just design your career. You could spend half the year doing that. You could spend another half, doing another thing. Like I got into directing I got into documentaries. I got into other stuff, doing this. I like that. I like that freedom you have, and I think it's kind of disappearing because the cost is so high here.
What do you mean by? Can you elaborate on that? As far as like, I mean, the cost. The cost is up everywhere, and I understand what you're saying. But what do you mean is a disappearing in like the modern age?
Regarding the, you can carve out a career doing what I'm doing. I don't know how much longer it's going to be around.
Yeah.
I think AI may replace a lot of it, but the cost of living is so high in New York specifically. Like rent is incredibly high.
Yeah.
You can't really. It's hard for younger people getting in to make it work. So I always try to help them out because it's so hard making the contacts and everything because there's so fewer jobs and we're not shooting like the way we used to. I mean, there was that big Netflix boom. I'm sure you've experienced it that there was this huge boom content, then it's gone. It just hasn't really caught on again. It might, but it just isn't there right now.
Well, in that context too, the conversation as far as like, with young people, because we have these, the books and the movies and the TV shows of the young people driving to New York or going to Hollywood or breaking into the movies. It's always about acting. It's always about writing or directing. But how many conversations do you have as a behind the scenes person in a union with folks who are like, I want to get into this, and you say, think about these jobs because these are union jobs. They're well paying. They provide stability and all those kinds of things where you might have to tell someone, don't give up on acting, but this is something you can also do in the industry and it's just as important.
I don't really have those conversations because by the time I meet them, they're usually already along their path. They already kind of know that more or less. And I think on my side of it, being in art departments, they're more like they want to be a painter. They want to be a famous sculptor or video artist or painter or whatever, And I think that's probably more likely by the time they come into my department that I'll meet them. And they'll still be showing in galleries. I mean, we have a lot of very successful artists in our local, but that's where you're going to get health insurance. It's like very practical things to consider. Very boring sort of things, but it's true.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, one of my favorite films is Manhunter. And I love the chapter in your book about Manhunter. I have a weird connection. Dennis Farina was my Little League coach. I was friends with his kid when he was a Chicago cop. So that was like the first time I saw a movie where I'm like, I know that guy, But it sounds like a lot of the stuff that you talk about on that set is in direct correlation to cinematic immunity. I love the scene where there's a bird chirping and Michael Mann tells someone to kill the bird because they can't get rid of it. It keeps coming back and the bird keeps chirping and messing up the shot. Is that cinematic immunity? Like the laws don't apply?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great example of it. He was not a nice guy, Michael Mann. Is that Michael Mann? Not a single person has come back to me and said that he was a great guy. I mean, you have a lot of these movies where some people have a really bad experience and other people have a really wonderful experience. And that one was across the board. No one liked him. He was very demanding, but very nasty to people. So it's amazing he got the movie he did. You don't seem to get a lot out of people when they're just phoning it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like little things, like he wanted to see the glass crack in such a way where someone goes through a plate glass window and they just weren't getting it the way he wanted. And he's just like, it just that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He shoots the bird. And then I think there was another one. And then isn't that the part? It's all blurs together for me. But it goes through the wall and goes through it goes through the special effects truck
it's like plywood,
outside,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they were like, nope, and then they just left.
How is everybody?
Don't tell anybody.
The person you talked to that talked about Manhunter said everybody was coked out like crazy. I've been on a few movies says, how on earth do things get done when that is? It's hard enough to get a movie done on time when people aren't doing drugs when the second the camera stops rolling. How does that work? And was it just a different time and people sucked it up, or did it make them work harder? How did that happen?
I don't know. See, some sets are like that. I've been on a few like that too. I've done some crazy things we can't talk about here. But
look, I did some coke right before this interview. I get it. I'm just saying on a movie set.
But you're going to run out of steam. That's the thing. Coke is a nasty drug. You just got to keep it going or call it a night.
I wouldn't know.
So,
That's great.
but like, yeah, I think it was a different time. I think Coke was like it was just around so much, and you're around people who are making money. I think I don't know if this was in the book or if I had to cut this. It's weird. Some stuff I don't remember what is in there now because it was all so much stuff. But there was a chapter I cut on drugs, and this might have been in there. But like someone told me that there would be a lull, and not a lot was getting done. And then you could tell when the Coke dealer showed up because all of a sudden people would disappear into the bathroom. Then he'd come out with all his energy and ideas. And then next thing you know, you're doing an 18-hour day. Manhunter was a lot like this. They had to get Coke FedEx to them from
Oh my gosh.
from here to wherever they were. Where they shoot Manhunter? It was like North Carolina,
Chicago,
I think,
Louisiana. Yeah, it was all over. Yeah.
yeah, so wherever they were, where that house was, I remember that was once the story that was relayed to me. I was like, oh, now we're gonna get a lot of work done.
Whew, we're gonna be on time. Well, and that actually leads me to my next question with regard to the location, because while this book is about New York filmmaking, it doesn't all take place in New York. And one of my favorite films, period, is Raising Arizona, which is covered in this book. And it was filmed in Arizona, but Barry Sonnenfeld, who was the DP, said specifically, I want a New York crew. What was it about, like, wanting to, like, you know, it could be easy to make a book about movies only in New York because it's New York, but this movie was not filmed there. But in order to make it work, they felt like they needed New York there because something would be different. Can you speak more about that?
Well, New York film crew is you can bring that energy if you bring in the right people. So if I think Barry Sonnenfeld's memoir, Barry Call Your Mother. Have you read this? It is so funny.
Yeah,
you have to. It's so funny.
Before we let you go, first of all, a shout out, because the movie making process is totally collaborative. I agree. It starts with the script, but what the artistic people, what the art people do, design, set designers, it's so crucial in adding those things to a film you might not notice to the naked eye, but it elevates a film in such a way that it's just beautiful. So thank you for all your contributions. And SVU, we're huge fans too. Next time you're here, I want to ask you about Ishtar, because I thought that was hilarious. And Mariska Hargitay and Woody Allen, who had a therapist on the set because he didn't want to touch the lobsters. That was hilarious. Great. So you've got to come back. And if you're listening, folks, check out Michael's book. It's outstanding. Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking is told by the crews that got the shot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and your energy and all the fun. Please come back again.
Yeah, please. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Great stuff. That's Michael Nuremberg, folks. Check out his book, Cinematic Immunity, an oral history of New York filmmaking as told by the crews that got the shot. We've got more Nite Lite coming up next. It's the Nightcap. I'm Pete Schwaba. He's Greg Bach. This is the Civic Media Network.
it's time to wind it down. This is Nightcap with Greg and Pete.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on Civic Media. As always, you can be part of the conversation, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking to Pete Marshall, the communications director of Friends of the Boundary Waters. He'll be on our show to talk through the recent Senate action that now allows mining in the federal lands that surround the much-beloved boundary waters in Minnesota and Canada. So if you want to know more about that, come on by for the show. We got that great conversation coming up in the first hour. And then in the second hour, it is the Nite Lite Movie Club, where we are talking all things Goodfellas, trivia, thoughts, ideas, favorite lines, things we cannot say on the radio because there's a lot of swearing in that movie. But that's all for you coming up on tomorrow's show. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, I think we had a really good show today, but before we get into our thoughts on that, let's get back to the text messages because we got a lot of opinions on tonight's question, which was, what actor, actress, movie, or something reminds you so much of New York City? What else we got on the text line there, Dom?
Yeah, we have Tony the Trucker saying, gentlemen, it's Billy Joel in Law and Order.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Boom, boom, bum, bum, bum,
We also have Jake from Madison saying, with New York, it's Martin Scorsese. After Hours is maybe the most of that, but it's Marty. It's definitely Marty.
There you go.
We also have Troy from Madison saying Joe Jackson.
Nice.
Wait, Joe Jackson? The singer?
I'm guessing
Stepping out tonight.
I thought he was British. Oh my gosh, I'm not smart.
Maybe he's got a place in New York, you know.
Never know.
You never know.
We also have John Murray talking about the sitcom, obvious best sitcom ever. Wait for it, Three's Company. Ritter is the best physical comedian ever by a nose.
Ritter is awesome.
Yep. And
I will say this: it's a shame that Ritter and Julia Louis-Dreyfus could not be in a comedy together. That would have been an amazing pairing. But go on, Dom. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and he said, and Chrissy Snow, Larry. I met Joyce DeWitt and waited her a dozen times in Freeport, Illinois. She's a nice lady and wasn't too big for the room. Friend of a friend of mine.
That's
Wow,
cool.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Love stories like that.
Love that.
And then, yeah, he also said the Ropers were super creepy in the funniest way possible.
I mean,
the Mrs.
that show was creepy. Like it was like creepy light. Like it's just every time you're like, can someone just explain the situation and we'll cut to the credits? Because I mean,
you mean Ropers or Three's Company?
Mr. Furley wasn't any less creepy. Let me tell you that much.
With his outfits.
Oh my
gosh. I agree about the Ropers. I actually thought Norman Fell was funny on Three's Company. The spinoff, he's just a pervy guy with binoculars, and she's constantly begging him for sex. Something there didn't add up.
Well, and we can't get into it right now, but there's a really interesting story about how they gave them a spinoff and then made a deal where if the spinoff didn't work in a certain amount of time, they could come back to the show. Well, the spinoff didn't work, and the studio somehow finagled the time frame where when it got canceled, they were out of the window, so they got fired, and they brought in Don Knotts.
Oh, wow. That's great. I love that little bit of trivia. That is awesome. On the stream, we've got Dave who says The Family Man. It's a good New York movie. I forgot about, that was a good movie.
That's a good,
I forgot it was in
nice, sweet Nicolas Cage film.
Yeah. Do you guys, speaking of John Ritter, did you ever see the movie, oh God, what's it called?
Is it the one about TV?
No, it's the one where Aaron Neville sings a song called Falling Out of Love. It's like Real Love or something, but there's a great scene where a guy comes in and catches Ritter cheating with his wife, and it's dark, and they're using glow-in-the-dark condoms. So all you see are these
I know it. Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about.
Is it Skin Deep?
Yes, it's Skin Deep.
Skin Deep, yes. And they're chasing each other around the room with their It's so fun. I mean, that was a great scene. I don't know if it was a great movie. I don't remember much about it.
That comedy about TV, Stay Tuned, is a very weird sci-fi film. And then also with Jim Belushi, Real Men, not a big hit, total bomb. But I watched that movie so much. I loved Real Men growing up. It was so fun.
I think that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, that's the wrong. Love John Ritter.
Yeah,
great stuff.
Absolutely. What do we got on the Facebook page there, Pete?
We've got Dick says, I messed up here. He says Frank Sinatra. That's an obvious one. Rich Tallarico, who will be on the show next week, says Manhattan, Hannah and Her Sisters. Great ones. RC says Dudley Moore. Our pal Rich Lacasio says Tony Bennett. Daniel Wheeler, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. Love it. Pat Francis says Madonna. Boris says Martin Scorsese.
Madonna.
Yeah. And After Hours, a great New York movie, and a Martin Scorsese movie that gets forgotten about from 1986.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we're not going to have time to get through all these, but great comments, and love when you guys participate. Lots of interaction tonight. That was really fun.
I will get to. I just got a few on my Facebook. We can get through those really quick. Nikki says, Midnight Cowboy, because of that famous iconic scene of I'm walking here. That was totally improvised because an actual cabbie drove up on Dustin Hoffman while filming. My friend Katie says Arthur, Dudley Moore version, of course, because we don't stand for what's his face in this house. Mike Bischoff says De Niro, of course, and Eric says Francis Ha. Those were all their choices.
De Niro's a great, how did I miss De Niro?
Wow.
I mean, it's exactly.
Actually, just have go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, no, gotcha.
Couple more here. Mary says you've got mail, Mary Rohde. Beth says Gary Grubbs. Our pal Jenny Brandt from here at Civic Media says Sarah Jessica Parker. And Andrew Brown, your pal Greg says Rhett. And Jay Campbell says Rosie Perez.
There you go.
Nicely done.
Excellent. Well, that was just a fun, packed, absolute wonderful show, folks. And by the way, the Brewers are winning 1-0 in the first inning. So that's really fun. Love that. Pete, what did you learn tonight?
I learned through our interview with our friend reading his book, Michael Nuremberg, that set designers are awesome because in Mississippi Burning, it was not cotton season. So the set decorators went through and put little cotton balls on all these sticks. And you'd never know it watching the movie. Movie magic.
Dom, what about you?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Pete, you took it right from my mouth.
I mean, I'm going to say the same thing. And as much as something I said in the interview, I don't know if we heard it, but the fact is when we think about strikes and we think about, actors trying to get more money, what we're really trying to do is fight for the rights of their unions who actually employ these folks who are behind the cameras and work a hard job for us. So that's what I learned. Folks, we got to get out of here. As always, thank you to Dom Tucker, Engineering Traffic, for what you do, making sure the microphones turn on, for all the people who got in touch with us tonight. Thank you so very much. And Pete, say goodnight to the people.
Good night, Wisconsin.